Welcome everybody, Steve here. Well, we're on to the tailgate. The last piece of the puzzle in this 72 Ford project. And I'm looking forward to having this done so we can get everything painted and start putting this truck back together. Well, my brother left me with a lot of little pinholes, so there's a lot of welding. And then of course all the holes for all the chrome is all gone. So this piece here, from about here down, oh, it doesn't go too far, but if you remember, if you follow along, little brother, he cut this whole top off to straighten out the tailgate and then welded everything back together. And that's probably the best way of doing it. You know, it's hard. These tailgates are made out of some pretty tough stuff. So if you can make it a little easier to bend, do it. You know, this doesn't have to be perfect. We're not building an absolute show car here, but still got to look good. There's a couple little dents. We're going to have to do some evasive pulling, and that's going to require welding the bolt on, you know, and then we'll just pop that up. Stud puller is not going to do much good on this tailgate. All right, lots of welding. That means lots of grinding. Well, I think we got most of the pinholes all welded up. So it's another day and just getting on prepping this. So here's my thinking. I want to get everything all kind of nice and straight, and then I'm going to take it out and I'm going to re-sandblast it because it hasn't been sandblasted for a while. And that's going to be my mechanical bond for the filler. You know, I could sit there and try and grind this all day long, but I don't think we really have to. We got a little sandblast on there. Filler's going to stick really, really well. The first thing we have to do though is we've got a bunch of nasties in here. And they're just a little bit too big for filling, so we're going to have to weld on some bolts and use the crowbar. Well, we got the dents out and we're ready to sandblast. Now, here's my thinking. I'm gonna do the body work. This is, this is just a single panel here. So what I want to do is I want to do the body work on the front here first. So I'm just gonna sandblast this area. I don't want to sandblast everything because I don't want to, if something comes up and you let it sit, you don't want any little flash rusting or anything like that. I want to keep the sandblasting fairly fresh when I do the body work. And then we'll get this done. Start putting on some filler today. We're going to get started with the body work, but feel it up first. Make sure that you got everything the way you want it. You're going to get the odd little dingo ball from the welder. I'll scrape all those off. It'll cause you a heartache. This is going to be a tough job. Tailgates are always the worst, but I want to skim it. I've got no chrome going on here, so just try and do it so that you got the least amount of pinholes. A little spot on the inside here. These tailgates really get beat up, so you're probably going to end up having to fix a high spot here or there. That's okay. I think there's going to be some finger action here. These spots where we welded up, you're just going to have to get in there with your finger and get it the best you can. If you're going to tackle a job like this, you better like sanding. It's kind of a very, very tedious thing. You find yourself bending up old pieces of sandpaper, trying to get everything as flat as you can. I'm using 80 grit here. I don't want to have to deal with the 40 grit scratches, so I'm using 80 grit. And I'm hoping that I can put maybe 3 coats of primer on here and then just go right to paint. If it doesn't work, then I'll put a couple more coats of primer on. Well, I got this this main part done here. This is the only part that's single walled. The rest of it's all doubled up, so we don't have to worry too much about this. But you know, I'm glad I did, you know, because there's some spots that I had to hit down and redo. But you know, that's a little over 3 hours of unfun, and you know that's going to stretch your you know, your patience when you're doing body work is all these little things like this. But you know, we're not going to get it absolute perfect, that's for sure, but that's okay. Anyway, time to flip it over, get going on the other side. Okay, we're getting started on the back side. This is just a little bit of filler I had left over when I was doing the front and with the outside, I guess. So I'll just go back over top of that. But I'm just going to run a piece of tape. There's a seam right here. Last thing you want to be doing is cleaning that up. So we're going to run a little bit of tape on that. Run your hand along there. Make sure there's no dingle balls. Something that's going to ruin your day. Yeah, there's something right there. There we go. I'm going to skim the whole thing here, because there isn't a square centimeter on here that, or square inch, however you want to look at it, that is not hurt. Now before I get too crazy down in here, I want to make sure that there's no dents. I don't want to do it if I don't have to. This isn't too bad, but getting down, some rust pits down here, we'll fill those up. But I don't want to get too excited because that's a lot of work sanding that. Still a little bit tacky, not ready for some filing. So we're just going to put on another coat. Keep it going. So I'm just stroking everything with 40 grit till I get it close, and then I'll finish it with 80 grit. You know, you just get close to your, you know, when you start seeing stuff coming through. Feels pretty good. Yeah, it's a big job, but it's coming. Okay, just hitting her with some 80 grit now. Well, you pretty well got the idea now what I'm going to do here. And I'm just going to keep on going. Now the letters, they got a little bit of, you know, pitting in there. I guess I'm going to have to fill them. Unfortunate, but that's just the way it works. this, the back side here. Should be able to get this done in a couple hours. Still a lot of little things to do. I got to get in here where I welded the holes up. But it's coming. Okay, got the back all done. I think it's gonna look pretty good. Good enough. Not gonna go any further than that. So we'll probably give it a couple good coats, maybe 3 coats of primer, and then hopefully sand this right straight through too so that we can paint it. You know, if you have to take and sand this a couple times, man, I tell you what, that's a lot of work. And you know what, if it doesn't work out, then you put some more primer on. That's all you have to do. But some of these things I mentioned, you know, I got some pits right down in here, you know, a little bit of rusty. I'm gonna prime that, and then I'm just gonna put a glaze putty on those, cover them up. If you just put the filler in there, man, I tell you what, there's probably, I don't know, 20 minutes of sanding just to get that just the way you want it. Very unfun. Okay. Got a little bit of grinding to do here, and then I can finish. I'll go back outside, give this just a light little mist with the sandblaster, and we're ready to start filling on here. This is going to be easier than the back. You know, I know it's weird to be excited about filler, but this is kind of like the last component in the project. So I'm quite excited that we are getting done. We're not done yet. Still going to be some heartache and tough times on this. I'm pretty sure, but we will get her. Now we're getting a little rain, which is always good. So over here, I had a couple more pinholes I had to fill up, so I got that done before I started doing any filling. Get loud in here pretty soon. Should leave this easy part for the end, but we'll get her done. Haven't sanded this one up at the top yet. Letting it set just a couple minutes, just long enough for me to get some mud on here. speed bodywork. Sand while the other is drying. Hopefully this is going to be the last of the filler right in here. I'm going to let that set up for just a little bit. And meantime, we're on to 80 grit. Just going to finish this off, and then, well, it won't take very long now. And then next step's going to be primer, which is awesome. All right, that doesn't take very long. Alright, we got the 80 grit done. Tailgate looks good. Looks better than I thought it was going to look, that's for sure. But they're a big job. You know, if you're going to tackle this, make sure you've got a lot of time set aside. You know, a lot easier to buy one, that's for sure. But I'm glad we fixed this one because it's original. It's going to look good on the truck. And they are heavier, you know, like it's a real tailgate. So, we're done for this episode. Next time you see me, this is going to be hung up, and we're going to be priming this thing. We'll put about 3 coats on here, I think. And then we're going to deal with the pinholes and any minor little things after. You know, there's stuff that you'd have to just get really close and start looking hard to find anything wrong, but it's easy when you finish signing your primer. And if we need more primer, we're just going to add more primer. So until next time, thanks for watching. Stay tuned.
Give it just a little throttle, and just work the throttle, okay? hold it about that RPM.
Okay,